Yeah, I thought it was a good game for us, and some of the things that we were trying to accomplish that we worked on in the one day that we had prior to the game. I liked us having to compete against the physicality that Germany showed, and loved the way we started the third quarter. You could see that first group was getting some momentum. So we got some things done, and I thought it was a good game.
Coach, can you talk a little bit about what the process for recovery was for the team, given that y'all were just in Phoenix, and then also looked like Griner wasn't available? Just any updates there?
Yeah, recovery was we had a really great practice yesterday. After being on the plane for so long, we thought it was good to get some good work in all that Asia sort of.
Active recovery.
We were very active
Very
recovery.
active
Very
recovery.
active recovery. I thought it was a practice that we needed, and just kind of, you don't get many opportunities. And I thought that I loved our approach. We saw the film, loved our approach. There were a lot of intangibles that occurred in the practice that were great for us. As far as Brittany, she's completely fine, and you'll see her going forward.
Coach, obviously whenever the Olympics happen during your season, you're going to have weird timing stuff, but even under the historic circumstances of this seems like it's a little extreme. How do you think the team is handling it?
I think. Well, I tell them this. I mean, I'm always so impressed with WNBA players, their ability to move from one thing to the next, to the next, to the next, and wherever their feet are, they have this ability to compartmentalize. And so I think it's really special. I think they make it look easy so people don't talk about it. And they just go, yeah, you don't have enough time. You don't have a lot of time. You got to figure it out. So many of the great players, oftentimes you just say, okay, this is what we're going to do, and they say, okay. And because they've done so much. They play overseas, they play in Europe, they play in Asia, they come back here, they play in the national team, and they go to their teams. And they've got to turn off wherever they are and just kind of lock in and get that complete buy-in, to whatever system they're in. And I marvel at their ability to do it.
Lauren Frere from NPR. A question for the coach and then for Asia. The USA women have won gold since before many of your players were born in the Olympics. How do you manage what could be pressure versus expectations on them? And then I have a question for Asia. I think it's Brittany Griner's first trip abroad since her ordeal in Russia. Is the team constantly aware of her trauma? How do you support her through that?
Yeah, I think with regard to, you can't escape, certainly we're a part of one of the greatest sports dynasties ever in terms of the success, and we're standing on this amazing culture that was built a long, long time ago. And so I think we're aware of that, but I think it's also really important that this journey is unique and special to this group. This is our first experience together. And so we want to grab a hold of that and make this the best experience possible for this. And hopefully it's adding on to the culture that was built.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to BG, we're just going to always be your sisters. I mean, I always have so much fun being her teammate because BG just has a light that not a lot of people can always have. And it's always there. And so obviously we are just trying to be around her and just help her and hug her, but at the same time, it's BG's world. We're gonna let her figure it out. We always standing by her side no matter what, and that's what I'm gonna continue to do. But BG uplifts me in more ways that she probably even knows. So I'm grateful to just be her teammate again.
Asia, can you tell us a bit more about that active recovery session?
Yeah, we died. We did a lot of running, a lot of physicality. No, it was just a normal day in the life of Cheryl Reeve's practice.
Did he tell you that?
We just got up and down. We got up and down. We really are. This is day one. This is practice one, step one to the standard and where we want to go. So we can't really take a lot of practices off or lightly, particularly now because we know when that time comes, it's quick, it's go time. So we utilize every time that we can just to make sure that we're rather in shape. We understand the physicality that we want to do, and just uphold the standard that we've been playing for all these years.
You obviously have known this has been coming for a while and have made preparation. Is it nice to be together as a group and now come over here and really kickstart the program?
Yes, I am so glad that All-Star was over and we could just finally be away from all the noise and just be within ourselves and understand we got to keep the main thing the main thing. So, and I'm also glad that the Olympics is during my season because I couldn't imagine having to get in shape again to then play for a gold medal. So, yeah.
was that, Coach, how was that kind of impacted you in regards to figuring out sort of how you go against teams, like schematically, how you're scouting teams, and how does that kind of affect players, individual players, and how does that affect an Asian essentially?
Yeah, I mean, that's all the hardest part, right? You don't have a lot of time to figure it out. You can imagine as coaches, we do a lot of pre-work as we go into this, and we have some sense of what we like to do. But what I learned through the years is keeping it simple and doing less is better, so that these guys can be in a place where they're just playing. And so not imposing too much on them, giving them, some space to be able to be the great players that they are. It's that balance. The schemes are probably going to come more on the defensive end. And offensively, you want to try to, they'll see some plays that maybe their team runs. We play against each other, so we know the stuff that's difficult to guard, and so we're going to try for each one of them to make sure that they're seeing things that's familiar to them. If I'm doing anything foreign, I want them to raise their hands and go, whoa, that's not something that's instinctual for us. And that's what I learned through the years, and hopefully we'll be able to do that for these guys.
Hi, Richard Cohen, Hoopsters. You had a lot of lineups on the floor tonight with 3 players who normally play big roles in WNBA, play the 4 or the 5. Does that create issues with asking people to do things that they don't normally do with their club teams because they have to play the perimeter a little more than they normally would be?
I would say there's a sacrifice there, because I think they probably each prefer to play their own position. But I think, being on the floor with the best players on our team, I think that's important to us, and it's our job to try to help them bring out the best in them, despite the position that they're playing. And that's the part that I think that we can do a better job. I think I saw that tonight. There were times it was a little bit clunky. And so how do we help Nafisa Collier, to get to her spaces while Stewie and Asia are on the floor, or when Alyssa Thomas is out there. AT is such a great facilitator, but making sure that again, the best players are playing in their best spaces, and we've got a little work to do with that.
All right. Thanks, everyone. Appreciate it.
Thank you.